Hare Krishna devotees. Next part of our Sunday Feast program is Sunday Feast lecture, and today we have very special speaker, His Grace Radha Vinod Prabhu. Now, by this time, everybody know to the congregation. Radha Vinod Prabhu is a nice devotee. Family recently moved from Seattle to here. Prabhu and Mataji nicely serving our congregation, and they are initiated and practicing this Krishna consciousness more than 15 years, and Prabhu is very senior. Mm, we are fortunate to have this family here. They are doing wonderful services. Prabhu is coordinating events along with Umesh Prabhu. So Prabhu also actively participating in other services. With that, we will welcome Prabhu by loudly chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna dear devotees. Thank you so much for being here today. Before actually starting our session, let's do some small Kirtan to bring the auspiciousness. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Dari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Sri Radha Nila Madhav ki Jai. Hare Krishna devotees, today we are actually going to discuss about shloka in 10th chapter. It's called 10th chapter, 10th verse. Prabhuji, can you present that one? All right. Hare Krishna. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yena mam upayanti te. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Okay, let's go around the room. Maybe 3-4 devotees can recite, lead it. Mata's, anyone from Mata's side? You want to do? Okay, go ahead.
Tesham satata yuktanam
Tesham satata yuktanam
bhajatam priti purvakam
bhajatam priti purvakam
dadami buddhi yogantam
dadami buddhi yogantam
yena mam upayanti te.
yena mam upayanti te. Nice. Any Mata's? Okay. Tesham satata yuktanam
Bhajatam priti purvakam
bhajatam priti purvakam
dadami buddhi yognam tam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
yena mam upayanti te.
yena mam upayanti te. Prabhuji? Anyone? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
yena mam upayanti te.
yena mam upayanti te.
Tesham sata yuktanam
Tesham satata yuktanam
bhajatam priti purvakam
bhajatam priti purvakam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
yena mam upayanti te.
yena mam upayanti te. Anyone wants to do online? Anyone is?
Okay. In online, want to recite this verse?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can.
Sure, Mataji.
Tesham satata yuktanam
Tesham satata yuktanam
bhajatam priti purvakam
bhajatam priti purvakam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
dadami buddhi yogantam
yena mam upayanti te.
yena mam upayanti te.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Let's see word by word meaning of this one. I read, maybe you can follow after me. Tesham, unto them. Satata yuktanam, always engaged. Bhajatam, in rendering devotional service. Priti purvakam, in loving ecstasy. Dadami, I give. Buddhi yogam, real intelligence. Tam, that. Ena, by which. Mam, unto me. Upayanti, come. Te, they. Okay, translation by His Grace, Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Simple statement, but a very powerful statement. So before going into the discussion of the shloka, let's take blessings from our acharyas. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavancham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindhavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Hrude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Gurave Namaha. Well, before starting, first of all, I'm really not qualified to speak this divine knowledge, but however, I am trying to speak for my own purification. And at this moment, I would also like to thank His Grace Satsara Prabhu and Her Grace Jai Subhadra Mataji for encouraging me to do this service and giving opportunity. Okay, so let's see the context of this verse. This verse is 10.10 is one of the 4 important verses. It's called, so 10.8, 9, 10, 11. These are actually Chatushloki. These are called Chatushloki. So this is a 3rd verse in the Chatushloki. Let's see who actually introduces this term called Chatushloki. Chatushloki is actually first identified Sripad Ramanujacharya. He's a Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya Acharya. He's the foremost Acharya in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. We all know that there are 4 Sampradayas. Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is a Kumara Sampradaya, there is a Kumara Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. These are 4 famous or very well-known Vaishnava Sampradayas. Originally, these are actually started by the respective deities. Like, if you see, Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya is started by Lakshmi Devi herself. And then Kumara Sampradaya started by Sanat Kumaras. Sanat Kumaras are the one who are, famously by they're cursing Jaya Vijaya, right? So those are Sanat Kumaras, 4 Sanat Kumaras. They started this Vaishnava Sampradaya. And Rudra Sampradaya is started by Lord Shiva. And similarly, Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is started by Lord Brahma, which we belong to actually. So originally they started for a time immemorial, since universe started. However, that knowledge is actually broken in a period of time. So people stopped practicing that one. And now people forgot about that devotional Vaishnava Sampradayas. But later, 500 years back, Acharyas came and re-established these Sampradayas back. So in that moment, actually, Sripad Ramanujacharya is actually in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, he re-established this knowledge in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And similarly, if you take Kumara Sampradaya is, I think Nimbarka Acharya is the one actually re-established that Sampradaya back. And Rudra Sampradaya is re-established by Vallabha Acharya. And similarly, in Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which we are in, is re-established by Madhvacharya. Today is in fact actually Madhvacharya's disappearance day. Let's pray him. Actually wants to get his blessings. Madhvacharya ki jai. So the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya Acharya, Srimad Ramanujacharya actually identified these 4 verses as Chatushloki verses. Then later all the Acharyas followed this as identified and then recognized it is actually Chatushloki. So, but this Chatushloki is actually also called as essence of Bhagavad Gita. So in these 4 verses, that essence is actually provided. In fact, this essence, but in fact, If you see, this is the 10th chapter where we are talking about Vibhuti Yoga, Lord's opulences, right? But if you see just one chapter before, which is 9th chapter, which is talking about most confidential knowledge. Lord is speaking most confidential knowledge, and he is concluding that chapter by one important verse is called 934. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji maam namaskuru Mame Vaishasi Yuktvaivam Atmanam Mat Parayanaha. Saying that engage your mind always in thinking of me and offer obeisance unto me. By being completely absorbed in me, surely you are going to come to me. This is what is the conclusion verse in the 9th chapter. That's the most confidential knowledge. So if you see this verse exactly coming in the whole Bhagavad Gita, we have 18 chapters. And exactly coming the 9th chapter, this half of the chapter is half of the book is completed, is concluding there. And to stress on this importance of this verse, if you see the same verse repeated again in the 1865, same Manmana Bhava Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskaram, there is a little variation where in the last line is specifically telling Arjuna, is addressing Arjuna that, so this is like, since you are my friend, you are sure, damn sure that you are going to come to me by doing these things. So that's a very important. That means how we need to see the essence here is, if you see Chatushloki is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, then Manmana Bhava Madbhakta is the essence of essence. So now we are going to, then what is about these 4 verses? In these 4 verses, Lord is a little bit expanding the same Manmana Bhava Madbhakta into 4 different verses. The first 2 verses are actually talking about how devotees are actually surrendering to me by doing devotional service. So the process of devotional service is established there. And in the second 2 verses, Lord is actually reciprocating how, when you do divine service, how Lord is going to reciprocate. That is what actually spoken in the next 2 verses. Let's see, what is the first verse. Actually, before that one, I would like to say one more point here. According to Vedic principles, there are 3 stages of spiritual development, namely Sambandha Jnana, Abhideya Jnana, and Prayojana. So Sambandha Jnana, Abhideya, and Prayojana. What is Sambandha Jnana? Sambandha Jnana refers the establishing one's original relationship with the Supreme Lord. So basically it's talking about relationship. Who are you? And who is the Supreme Lord? And what is the relationship between you both, right? So that's the Sambandha Jnana. Then the Abhideya. So Abhideya is talking about, so you know that relationship, but how do you actually get back that relationship? Connect back. So that's a process of getting connection back to the Supreme Lord is actually, Abhideya is referring that part. Since we are actually souls, we are originally coming as part and parcels of Supreme Lord. We are actually same in the quality, but since we came to material, we completely forgotten about that one, that we are actually part and parcels of Krishna. So by doing the devotional service, we are going to re-establish that connection, and then we are going to show there our original constitutional position, right? So that is Abhideya. By doing Abhideya, what you are going to achieve, that is actually spoken in Prayojana. Prayojana refers to the result of doing the Abhideya. So if you see these 4 verses, 10.8, 9, and 10 and 11, so these 3 things are addressed in these 4 verses. So the first verse, 10.8, is actually addresses Sambandha and Abhideya part. And whereas 10.9 is actually covers Abhideya part and Prayojana part. And 10 and 11 is purely actually about the result, Prayojana only. So let's start with the first verse. So what is 10.8? 10.8 saying that Aham sarvasya prabhavo matha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante amam buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, saying that Aham sarvasya prabhavo, I am the source of everything that is spiritual and material. Everything is actually I am the source. And then he is saying matha sarvam pravartate. From me everything emanates. So iti matva bhajante mam, whoever actually knows this knowledge, they are going to worship me with Buddha bhava samavita, the same intelligence and with a focused mind. So that's what he is saying. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Let's see what does it mean by like Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. What is that? He's saying I'm the source of everything. They're like no, including spiritual world as well as material world. So in material world there are 8 elements. We know that: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the 8 elements is actually created by Lord himself. And then later actually they are expanded to different objects. So even we are actually in body, this body actually consisting of like 5 elements, and of course mind and intelligence and false ego. So these are 8 elements. So any object you take, this is comprises of these particular like 8 elements. Let's take an example of milk just for the sake of discussion, right? So when you take a milk, what is the source of milk? So this analysis can be done at 3 levels, right? So cause, right? What is the cause of this milk? So one can actually do this analysis at immediate cause. Who is the immediate cause of the milk? So let's say you have milk in your refrigerator, then someone comes and asks, where did you get, right? That's the immediate cause. But if you are living in the city, you know that you got it from HEB or somewhere Whole Foods, right? That is the immediate cause. But as an intelligent person would think or analyze further more and more, then they'll go further next level of analysis. So that is called a remote cause. So you can see there's the immediate cause, a remote cause, and ultimate cause. So intelligent person analyzes until he reaches to the ultimate cause. So if you take in the case of milk, the immediate cause was actually from HEB or Whole Foods. But if you think from where actually the milk is coming to HEB or Whole Foods, then you know that there is a farm nearby villages and it's coming from there. Then if you go further, you know that there is a farmer actually maintaining a farm and is actually maintaining cows and is feeding the cows with grass, right? So then the cause is cow, and then how the cow is getting fed is grass and water. All this is nicely taking care of that. So then if you further think of it, then where is the grass coming from? Where is the water is coming from? So if you think that one, that is actually coming through rains. There's clouds are coming and raining the water, and that's how the grass is also growing, correct? But then how the clouds are formed, then it comes the real personality in this one is sun. Sun is the one actually who's shining every day, and because of his light is evaporating the ocean water becoming actually clouds, and over a period of time they are getting cold and they are moving to different places and then showering rain. That's how actually the rains are coming, then grass is coming, then cows are getting fed, and then they are giving milk, and then the farmer is giving milk to the stores, and then it's coming to our house, right? So the ultimate cause is sun here. So then let's see what Lord Brahma is saying about this sun, right? Yachakshuresa savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja yasya gnaya bhramati samruta kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. You all know that Brahma Samhita, majority of our devotees know, Brahma Samhita is spoken by Lord Brahma. Here Lord Brahma is saying, Yachakshuresa savita sakala grahanam. The sun is the actual face of this planet. The planet is the effulgence of this whole universe and the image of the good soul. And he is the eye of the world. Eye of the world means like there's a universal. For the whole universe, the sun god is the actual eye. If you see in the 14th chapter, Lord is talking about the universal form, right? So in the universal form, he's saying the Lord saying, the sun and moon are 2 eyes of the universal form of Lord, right? So the sun is eye of Lord, and he's saying that Lord Brahma is further saying that Yasyagnaya Brahmati Sambrata Kala Chakro. That sun, who is the king of all planets, is actually rotating along with the time cycle, so Kala Chakra. The time chakra wheel, time wheel, right? Time wheel is actually rotating around the planets, right? So sun is actually rotating along with the Kala chakra. That sun is actually rotating on the order of Lord. So he's saying, Yasya Gnaya Brahmati Samvruta Kala Chakro Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. And Brahma is actually praying that Lord, the Supreme Lord Govinda. So he's saying that sun is that position actually. So then that sun is actually controlled by the Supreme Lord. Then if you see where is the milk coming? Directly coming from the Supreme Lord. If you see analysis, all this one, the Supreme Lord. Who is saying this one? Lord Brahma is saying, let's see who is the Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the secondary creator of this universe, right? How this universe is formed. We know that there is a spiritual world, and the spiritual world is ending with the Karana ocean, the causal ocean. In the causal ocean, Mahavishnu is lying down on that Karana ocean along with Lakshmi Devi. Then he is actually of course, sleeping, Yoga Nidra. And he is actually breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathe out, right? So in exhale, the number of bubbles are coming from his body. His body actually has a skin. Everybody has a skin, body skin, right? And the skin has pores. And from each pore, there is one Brahmanda is coming. Then one universe is coming as a bubble. That bubble is growing and as a forming as a universe, right? So there are millions of universes are getting released from his body when he exhales. So those universes, Lord is again entering into those each of universes as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Garbhodakashayi Vishnu enters into the each universe, and he makes a water body in each universe, and he is lying down that water, and from his navel is coming a lotus flower. That lotus flower, on top of the lotus flower has from navel there is a lotus stem, and then there is a lotus flower. On that lotus flower, Lord Brahma is appeared. That Brahma actually, when he appeared, he doesn't know anything, and then he did tapas, and then he got some knowledge. With that knowledge, he started creating the universe, all different planets. So we know that in universe there are 14 planets. So Earth is one of the center planet. Then we have so there are higher planets, and there are 7 lower planets. These 14 planets together, we also call it as a Triloka. Teen Loka. So these 14 planets together is actually called universe. So that Brahma is saying that sun is actually cause for this so many things, and that sun is actually controlled by the Supreme Lord. So that's how we need to understand the first word, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Right? And then Matta Sarvam Pravartate is Lord saying that everything is emanating from me. What does it mean, everything emanating from me? It means that he is maintaining this universe, not just this universe. All the universes are actually coming from the Mahavishnu, right? So he is a maintainer, he is creator. I mean, when as a creator, he is the source of everything, he is also maintainer. So, Itimatva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. But the devotees who have this knowledge, they are actually surrendering to Lord. So then how do you remember, we have taken one example of milk, right? So milk is the source of ultimate supreme. But then on day-to-day basis, how can we remember Lord? Of course, as you are doing devotional practice, then you actually always think of Lord. But in order to reach that one, how can you actually remember Lord? So in this same chapter, after this Chatushloki, Arjuna realizes that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, because the Lord Krishna already established the knowledge. If you see the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter is mainly introduction about who is who, what, and right. And there's a war, and Arjuna doesn't want to fight, and then the same thing he says to Krishna. Then Krishna started giving knowledge about the second chapter talks about soul and super soul, and what's the relationship between, and then karma yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga. He gives in the 7th, 8th chapters, he gives some little bit about devotional bhakti yoga also. In 9th chapter is talking most confidential knowledge, and in 10th chapter, that's the time, first time actually Arjuna is speaking out. He is actually saying that, oh yeah, I really accept that one. You are the Supreme Lord and you are showing mercy. Then how can we understand you in this material world? That's what he asked. When he asks this question, then he says, so this 10th chapter is talking about Vibhuti Yoga, right? Then he lists out all the Vibhutis. There are 88 opulences that actually Krishna quotes in this this chapter. This is of course very limited. There are unlimited Vibhutis are there, but he's just giving the 88. Like, he's saying, I'm the lion of all animals. And he is saying, I am the Airavata of all elephants. So the best of each one, like, I am the son of, all effulgent objects, or I am the sweetness in the water, or I am the ability in men. So is the best qualities. He is saying, I am there everywhere. So whenever you go out or when you see sun god, then you can immediately connect it to Krishna. Or whenever you are drinking milk, you can connect it to Krishna. Or whenever anything you are seeing in this material world, they are indirectly connected to Krishna. He's saying Krishna is everywhere. He is part and parcel. He is there in every anu. So, but for our understanding, just to easily understand that one, Lord explained further that I am the best of all these things. So you can connect it to me. That's how he's saying. Then in 10.9, Lord is saying, Machita madgata prana bodhayantaha parasparam katayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanchita. Machita madgata prana. So the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So by knowing that who is Krishna, then the devotees' thoughts are always actually around Krishna. Their thoughts are fully filled with Krishna. We are always thinking what we can do Krishna, how we can dress him, or what can we feed him, or how can we spread his message. These are the thoughts always going, and the devotees are fully devoted to him. So by doing this one, let's say today we are meeting, all the devotees came here for what purpose? To discuss about Krishna. We are hearing Krishna Katha here. We are going to do Arati for Krishna and we are going to sing for him. Then we also offered already Bhoga, and which we actually consume it as a prasadam. And then we discuss, we talk each other. And when new devotees come, we also introduce, we preach them. So these all actually discussions are happening. These are the discussions are actually happening. Saying Tushyanti cha ramanchita. They are giving actual blissfulness to us. So by actually discussing these Krishna's pastimes. So there is one important point Lord is explaining further here. The world has millions of souls roaming around. And so millions of souls, but how many devotees are out of those millions of souls? Hardly any. We can't even say 0.00001%, right? So out of millions of souls, one soul actually come across a devotee. Anytime, fortunately, when he come across a devotee, then the devotee mercifully gives, he actually sows a seed of bhakti in that heart, in the soul's heart. That's how actually a seed, when one seed is sown, that is going to fructify by doing bhajana. What is the bhajana? Is getting associated with the devotees, and as you are hearing more about from devotees, then you will actually do more sadhana. You do chanting, or you read, you attend the classes, you do kirtan and all those things. This is sadhana. By doing this again and again, that seed fructifies and it comes with a plant. The plant comes out of that seed, right? It's called lata, or it's this plant. That plant you nourishes again and again with more association of devotees, with more devotional service. It grows and grows and grows. One day it actually breaks the shell of this material world and reaches to spiritual realm. As you are continuing that progress again and again, then it enters into Vaikuntha planets, and finally it reaches to Goloka Vrindavan. In Goloka Vrindavan, Lord Krishna is actually exists there, present there, is playing nicely there. then you go and stay at the feet of Lord Krishna. So once you settle over there, then you will fully, completely addicted to that one, attached to his lotus feet. You don't want to be like even a single moment without association of Lord Krishna. So your thoughts are always, even in this, you are in this material world, your thoughts are always filled with the Lord Krishna. And you can't be even a single moment without association of Lord Krishna. If you see fish cannot be sustained without water. Similarly, a devotee cannot sustain without a Lord's presence or Lord's pastimes, hearing pastimes or singing about him. So that's how a devotee grows. So in devotional service, I think the prominent one, actually I was reading somewhere. So Kirtan is a very prominent. This is actually, if you see any sampradayas, in Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, for Kirtan, it's more important is given because this is a glorification of Lord directly. So this is very important to have Kirtan. So every time an Arati is happening, any Kirtan is happening, we actually reserve blissfulness out of it because that's directly glorifying Lord. So when you are talking about Kirtan, actually we should also talk about Indra Prabhu. Indra Prabhu is one of the amazing Kirtanir. He was actually, he's from New York, but he settled down in Vrindavan. So he started, actually there is a program called 24-hour Kirtan. 24-hour Kirtan is something like, let's say you started the Kirtan program today at 12 o'clock. Then continuously for next 24 hours without stopping the Kirtan, it continues until the next day 12 o'clock. So it's not that only one Kirtanir leads the Kirtan, but different devotees lead Kirtan, but it's uninterruptedly it goes on. That 24-hour Kirtan actually succeeded very well. Then actually many of the centers across the world actually taken it and they are doing. In fact, recently in Dallas also there was a 50-hour Kirtan happened. From Friday, it started around for Friday evening and it went all the way to Monday. And we know the Sadhu Sangha program also, there is a 3-day event happens. When we are talking about Kirtan, definitely we should talk about Sankirtan Acharya. Our Sankirtan Acharya is actually Narottam Das Thakur. In Telugu, we know that there is Annamacharya. Annamacharya is a famous Telugu Sankirtan Acharya. Similarly, in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur actually brought a musical flavor to Kirtana. Before Narottam Das Thakur, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go around the villages by team of devotees, hundreds and thousands of devotees used to go along with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sankirtana parties. And blissfully, they used to sing and dance. So one day, he used to happen to come to a place called Keturi. Keturi, there is nearby Keturi town, there is a river called Padmavati River. So they are doing Sankirtana blissfully, continuously. Thousands of devotees are there and everybody is singing. And in the blissful moment, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all of a sudden started calling the names of Narottama. He's saying, Narottama, Narottama, Narottama. Then everybody got actually shocked. Who is this Narottama? Because there is no one called Narottama in this. By that time, there is no person actually, not in their team or nowhere in so far that any devotee knows in that area, right? So then after Sankirtan, Nityananda Prabhu goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and asks, you are actually in the middle of Sankirtan, you are calling out this name Narottama. Who is this Narottama you have been calling? Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is I am carrying love of God with me and distributing to everyone. So that love of God, I want to give it to someone so that he can carry and distribute it to the next generations. So I was thinking of a personality, then came into my mind is Narottama Das Thakur. Narottama. Oh, who is this Narottama? We have never heard this name. That's what Nityananda Prabhu asked. Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he is going to appear after 10 years after me. After I disappear, then he is going to come, like, maybe after 10, 15 years after me. That's what he says. Oh, really? Then if you live after 10 years, after 10 years he comes, how are you going to pass this love of God to him? The divine love, right? Then he says, there is a Padmavati river flowing. Then he enters into the Padmavati river. And then as soon as he enters into the Padmavati river, the river overflows with joy. Then he calls out Padmavati. So the river Padmavati Devi comes and prays to Lord, and how can I serve? Then Lord says, so I am giving this divine love with you, I am preserving with you. So after 10 years, there is one personality comes called Narottama Das Thakur. Hand it over to him so that he is going to spread this divine love across, for next 4 generations, right? Next generations. Okay, then Padmavati asks, how can I recognize that Narottama? Then Lord says, how today when I entered into your water, then you are overflowing with joy, right? The similar experience happens when actually Narottama enters into your river, right? So then you can hand it over to him. So that's how it happens. Then the time goes on. In Keturi village, there is a king named Radhananda Datta, and his wife Narayani Devi. These are very Vaishnava devotees, very humble Vaishnavas, and they are king of that town actually. They used to be called Jamindari. So Jamindari are something, they are taking care of the village. Of course, they are reporting to the king. There is a another king will be there. But for that town, they are Jamindaris. So they don't have children. They are very pious people. And Vaishnavas, of course, they respect Vaishnava. They invite Vaishnavas to their homes and serve nicely. But they don't have kids. So then as they are praying and they are serving sadhus, so they are blessed with one son named Narottama. When Narottama is born, there was a prediction that Brahmanas gives prediction that, so don't ever allow him to go to Padmavati river. If he goes, once he goes, then he is not going to be your boy anymore. So that's what it is, they warn actually. So then with that, keeping that in mind, then the king and queen, both Radhananda and they are taking care of the son very nicely, and they don't allow the son to go out of their fort. They have fort, and they arranged everything within the fort. So then, but Narottama wants to go out and play with other kids and do all all the kids. But since childhood, Narottama is very devotional and is very prayerful, and whoever sadhus comes and he carefully listens to them and he serves them. And over a period of time, as he is hearing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he establishes good faith and loving relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wants to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then over a period of time, after when he comes to 10 years or some time, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in his dream and says, "Dear Narottama, please go and do bath in Padmavati river." So then he knows that his parents he has security also, so that he can't go outside. so then they don't allow. But how do I do that one? So one fine day he sees that nobody is seeing around, and then he jumps out of the house and goes to Padmavati river. And as soon as he enters into the water, and the river actually joyfully overflows, and Mother Padmavati comes and tells the whole story and gives the part to him, the divine love. As soon as he receives that divine love, then he goes mad. So in ecstasy, he is dancing and crying, all those things, not a normal person does. He is not that person anymore. He is actually going wild with madness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then the parents identified that he escaped from the house. Then he'll recognize that he is at Padmavati river and he's in mad state, and they bring back to him to home. Then they'll take care of him. But sometimes actually that madness is still continuing. After many years, after a couple of years, again the Lord appears in his dream, because Narottama wants to go to Vrindavan and serve. There are 6 Goswamis. Shad Goswami, they want to serve him. They want to serve them. Let me check how I'm in time. We have time, right? 15 minutes. Okay. So then actually somehow he escapes from house and he goes to Vrindavana, and where he meets Jiva Goswami. he wants to actually meet Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, but by the time he reaches to Vrindavana, they already left this mortal world. Then actually feels bad, and then he serves Jiva Goswami for some time. He wants to take initiation. So that time he hears about Lokanath Goswami. Lokanath Goswami is very, very ardent devotee, and he is a foremost disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu orders Lokanath Goswami is the first person to go to Vrindavan and serve there. So I want to say, utter one more here, like, Lokanath Goswami used to have a beautiful TT called Radha Vinod. That's my name. When my spiritual master, His Holiness Ramapal Swami, was initiating me, he was telling about these deities. These deities were originally worshipped by Lokanath Goswami. Then later, after him, they moved to Jaipur because of the Mughals occupied, along with Radha Govind, Radha Damodar. These deities, even Radha Vinod also went to Jaipur. So Narottam wants to actually get initiation from Lokanath Goswami. But Lokanath Goswami is completely opposite. He has actually taken vow that he doesn't want to give initiation to anyone. He doesn't want to make any disciples. So then somehow actually was attached to Lokanath Goswami, whereas Lokanath Goswami wants to maintain a very, very low profile. To get disturbed with sadhana. But with the Jiva Goswami self, the Narottama realizes that if you serve him, maybe there is a chance of getting initiation. So with the advice of Jiva Goswami, he wants to take service, but he doesn't give service. But he finds a service for Lokanath Goswami. So every day morning, Lokanath Goswami goes for the morning thing, right? What is that called? Nature car. So back in days, there are no nice restrooms like this. So first of all, they have small hut, and for nature car, they used to go under some bushes, right? So those days, everybody used to have their own bush. So okay, this is one person's bush, no one goes there. So that way, actually, every day Lokanath Goswami going, that Narottama sees, and then every day after nature car is done, he goes to that place and nicely cleans that place and puts a new sand, everything. It will be nice, fresh mud, right? So couple 3-4 days like that, Lokanath Goswami goes, he identified that it is always clean. Someone is coming and cleaning this one. Who is doing this one? So he wants to see, and then he hides in some bushes and sees that this is Narottama is coming and cleaning this every day. Then he catches him red-handedly and he chastises, why are you doing this one? You are the son of king, and I am a low nothing personality, and you are doing this menial service. This is not good. This is an offense to me. That's what he says. But it stops I wanted to get your initiation, but somehow, but still he doesn't want to give initiation. But that night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in Lokanath Goswami's dream and says, please give initiation to Narottama. So that's how Narottama gets initiation. After serving a couple of years with Narottama and Jiva Goswami, he goes back to Keturi, where the first, in fact, we are getting Gauranga Prabhu appearance day. So the first Gauranga Prabhu appearance day is actually started by Narottama in Keturi. He actually invites the whole, all Vaishnavas across the India, from east, west, and north, south. And he does a very big festival. That is actually the first festival is conducted by Narottama Das Thakur. In that event, actually, Lord appears with all his, Prabhu Nityananda and Advaita Acharya. All 5 deities come and dance when actually Narottama Das Thakur is singing. So he actually added a lot of flavors to this Kirtans. So he's very important Acharya in our Sampradaya. Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. Okay, so then the next one comes as 10.10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. So here Lord is saying that Tesham, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So there are 2 important words here. He's saying Tesham Satata Yuktanam. So the Satatam in this line is very important. So we are doing devotional service, but how we are doing? So he wants not like once in a day or like a day in a week or monthly once, something like that. It's not like that. He's saying Tesham Satata Yuktanam. It has to be continuous devotional service. That means you always think of him and do some bhajan for him. It is whatever activity you are doing, but you connect that activity to with Krishna. That's it. That is Satatam, right? Always. So this word is very important here. And then it's saying Bhajatam Preeti Purvakam. How are you doing this devotional service? So this is Preeti Purvakam. This is important word here, Preeti Purvakam. So what is saying, like whatever activity you are doing, do it is with very lovingly. Let's say when you are feeding your son or when you are dressing up your son, how do you do? Like, you want to see him like this, this beautifully, then you decorate him very nicely, right? You are doing with very lovingly, you are doing any service to your son. Similarly, you do the devotional service with so much love. Let's say a person is doing garland. So you think of like, what kind of dress Krishna is wearing, then what kind of flowers I can wear, prepare, and how much length it has to be. So put all your intelligence and do it very nicely. That is Preeti Purvakam. Anybody does garland, right? But you need to show that special thing. That is Preeti Purvakam. With very lovingly, you do that one. When you are talking about garland service, we should definitely talk about one wonderful pastime of Andal, right? Many of you know this is again from Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. You know Andal, right? So there used to be an Acharya, Periyal Alvar. Alvars are like, in the lineage Sri Vaishnava Sampradayas, Alvars are famous. So Periyar Alvar is the foremost Acharya in Alvars. So he used to serve Lord Ranganatha in Sri Rangam, right? He used to also serve and he used to also make garlands for Lordship, right? So he's been doing for many years, and after so many years, actually he gets a child, baby girl, and her name is Andal. So Andal as grows, then she's observing, actually my dad is making garland and taking and offering to Lord, right? So then she wants to see whether it is suitable to Lord or not. So every time actually the Periyar were making garland, so then she wears first and sees whether it is suitable or not, is it looking good or not. Then if everything is good, then she puts it in the basket. So then after that, sometime Periyalvar takes and serves to Ranganath. This actually that Andal is wearing the garland. This information Periyalvar doesn't know. Periyalvar know that anything what you are serving, it has to be fresh and nothing to be used, right? So but Andal is using, actually she's wearing and checking whether I am beautiful or not. But she is not checking in that term that whether I am beautiful. She is checking in the terms that whether this is going to be beautiful to Krishna. That's what actually the mindset, right? She is doing it Preeti Purvakam. So one day actually Periyalvar sees in the garland, there is one hair stand. Oh, how come there is a hair stand I just made freshly? How is it possible? That's what he is thinking. So then next day what he does, he actually observes what's happening after I am making garland. Then his daughter comes and wears and sees in the mirror and see I am beautiful or something like that. He observes that and then he comes and chastises Andal. How can you actually wear something I made for Krishna? This is very offensive. Don't do that one. That's what he says. Then the next day he makes again garland. He serves to Lordship, Ranganath, right? Then that same night, Lord Ranganath comes in Periyalvar's dream, says, you cannot... So how are you why are you stopping Andal to wear this garland? So when she wears a garland and when after that when you serve it to me, I feel happy because there is some kind of aroma is coming from her body and that I enjoy through this garland. So please continue her wear this garland before serving it to me. That's what he says. So when you are really, of course, this is not like an intention to you also do the same thing. This is offense definitely for us. When whatever you are serving to Lordship, definitely you have to be fresh. But in this matter, why I'm telling this point is that when you are serving, do that with that mindset that it has to be very lovingly. Here Andal is actually Sakshat Lakshmi Devi. That's it. She's doing and which Lord is also reciprocating. But the point here is Preeti Purvakam, do that service with very, very lovingly. So then actually Lord is reciprocating by giving buddhi. So what is this buddhi here? Buddhi is intelligence. What kind of intelligence? Is it a material intelligence or is spiritual intelligence, right? So here we are not talking, Lord is not talking about material intelligence. He's talking about spiritual intelligence. With this intelligence, we are going to come back to Godhead, right? So that's spiritual knowledge. Of course, material knowledge is byproduct. In this world, to sustain, you need, of course, material knowledge too. But when you do devotional service, the actual product is spiritual knowledge, spiritual intelligence, but material intelligence is byproduct. You don't need to actually specifically look for that one. Lord takes care of all your problems, right? So this is the buddhi. So what is this buddhi is saying? Buddhi is actually action in Krishna consciousness. That's what he's saying. Any action. We know that the goal is Krishna. And when you know that the goal is Krishna, but you act actually like, so you do something, but you expect like, fruits from out of that. When you are expecting fruits out of that action is called karma yoga. Similarly, like when a person knows the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna. He knows that Krishna is ultimate and that's what he reached, but he's trying to understand by mental speculation. That is called Jnana Yogi. Similarly, Bhakti Yogi is someone who is actually, he knows that the goal is Supreme Lord Krishna, but to achieve him, he actually follows the bhakti process. He does actually seva to Lord Krishna directly. He serves his devotees, and that as we are doing here, we are coming every Sunday. We are doing service, we are doing Arati, we are singing for Lordship, we are attending the classes here, and we are offering Bhoga, and we are serving prasadam to all the devotees. Then we are cleaning the temple hall. These all are actually devotional services. So we are by doing this one, we are becoming actually directly connected to the Lord. This is called Bhakti Yoga. So there is a nice, wonderful definition is given by Acharyas. What is Bhakti? Bhakti is actually senses. We have senses, right? Eyes, hands, legs, right? Senses engaged in the objects of senses, right? We are actually interacting with something like I are seeing the Lordship there. So that is the object of senses. So senses and object senses. Senses are engaged in the objects of senses for what? For the pleasure of the master of the senses. For the pleasure of the master of the senses, not pleasure of you. Master of the senses. Who is the master of senses? Rishikesha, right? Rishikesha is Krishna. Rishikesha is the Lord Krishna himself. Rishikesha is the master of senses. So you engage your senses so that pleasure comes to the Lordship. So that is Bhakti Yoga. That's the meaning of Bhakti Yoga or Bhakti. So we have very less time. I quickly finish this part. So what is buddhi? Buddhi is nothing but prema. Actually, the final ultimate thing what you are achieving is prema bhakti. So the Lord is reciprocating by giving bhakti. So if you see in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are stages given. Stages of bhakti is given. There are like 9 stages are given. So Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anardha Nivruti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. These are 9 stages of devotional space. So when initially we are not in Krishna consciousness, we are roaming around. We don't have any faith on Lord Krishna, right? But fortunately we came across some devotee. That devotee sowed a bhakti seed on us. So that's how we actually built up some faith. So that is a very first stage. Then with that stage, as you are doing some sadhu sangha, association of devotees, and then you continue doing bhajana kriya. Performance of devotional services could be chanting or is association attending Arati or singing for Lord. These all are bhajana kriya. So as you are doing this seva, then anartha nivritti happens because we are actually attached to so many things. Our habits are actually because we are not just on this particular birth, right? So we have been taking so many births, and in this also we are continuing certain habits. We are not going to get rid of that easily. As we are doing bhajana kriya, these are called anarthas. So these anartha nivritti happens slowly. When anartha nivritti happens, what happens? Nishta comes. Nishta is a steadiness on your devotional service. Then as you are continuing your devotional service, then the taste develops on the name. So then, when you are chanting, you enjoy actually. Right now we are doing chanting, but at least I don't have that enjoyment. So maybe as you are practicing, then that taste comes. It's a ruchi. So with that ruchi, then attachment. So without attachment means without that you can't live. So that is the stage you reach. Once you reach to asakti stage, then bhava comes. So the bhava is a love. Love sprouts in your heart. Then as you are progressing, then the prema, the ultimate love of God, pure love of Krishna comes. That's how actually Lord is reciprocated. These are the stages of bhakti. I think there is some more to talk, but I would stop here because we are already ran out of the time. Thank you so much. But yeah, we are so fortunate to have this Krishna prema, because we getting this life as a getting association of devotees and getting love of Krishna is not an easy thing. In the Lord Krishna says in 729 or 19, saying Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam. Right? So he's saying after so many births and deaths, actually one has full knowledge, he only surrenders to me. That's what he's saying. And then actually we actually got association of devotees, and we are doing sadhu seva and bhajana kriya, right? That means we already went through that bahunam janmanam, right? Means so many births and deaths we already passed, and we got some knowledge. Because of this knowledge, some devotee with mercy actually has given this seed of bhakti to us, and now it is our responsibility to nourish very nicely by associating with the devotees and doing bhajana kriya regularly. And in the morning, actually, we do japa call, 5 o'clock japa call. Please attend the japa call. It's very important. It makes it gives actually shraddha to us, and mainly it establishes nishta. So it is very important to continuing this devotional service. Okay, with this, I would conclude it here. Any questions and comments are welcomed. Yes, Mataji.
You gave the example of you gave the example of the devotee who was wearing the garland, and but not for her own pleasure, to make sure it looks good.
Right.
So and in our in the Ramayana they talk about Shabri also.
Exactly. Yeah, amazing. Right.
So my mother and I always have this discussion, because my mother will always taste the food before offering it to Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
And I do the opposite. I'm like, no, if I taste it, then I have been the first person who consumed it. So I'm going to offer and then taste it.
Correct.
So my mother says, no, but I want to make sure if there's anything that still needs to be supplemented, I do that so that Krishna gets the best. And I'm like, no, but Krishna will anyway make it the best. So we always have this discussion as to what is the right way of for us to make the offering. Should we taste and make sure the food is perfect, or should we first offer and then make any adjustments?
Right. Yeah. Nice question, actually. So definitely we are following Vedic philosophy, right? We are following Vedic, whatever Vedas saying and whatever Shastra saying. As a learned persons, so we should definitely offer first to Krishna. We know that we are making it very heartful, but when it comes to offering, definitely we should offer first to Krishna without tasting. Of course, we know that we saw Andal's story and also Shabari's story. They are actually at a different stage, different level. Their platform is different. They are already passed through so many, and they have good connection with Krishna, and sentimentally also that is they are doing. And sometimes Lord accepts because of their love is that level, and our love is not that level yet. So we still are practicing sadhakas. So we need to follow what Vaidika philosophy is saying.
So I'll let my mother do what she wants to do, because her love,
let's not disturb her,
Yeah.
Because her thinking is different. Something let her enjoy it.
Yeah.
But as a known, what we know, at least for some knowledge, we're actually taking knowledge from Shastra, right, as well as from our acharyas. So we should follow what is right.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Yeah, I'll conclude it here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you, Radha Vinod Prabhu, for wonderful lecture. Now we will have Arati. Devotees, please raise up and we can have Arati now. Kimberly is going to sing Arati Kirtan and Nirmala Mataji doing Arati. I think from me that's it. I think she only do. మీరు కూర్చుంటారు నిల్చుంటారు అయితే అక్కడ
Maybe that, yeah, that one's good. Yeah, more that one. I'll put it there.
Not perfect.
That's okay. Better than nothing. Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Stay Saraswati Devi Jaya Shri Jaya Hare Krishna Hare Everyone. Higher, no, the sound higher. I need to go permanente.
Prabhupada, Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace is Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Namacharya Shri Laddas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप धाम की यमुना देवी गंगा देवी तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की बृहत मृदंगा की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंद all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna Temple of Austin ki.
Prahlad Maharaj ki. Thank you, Kimberly. That's a wonderful Kirtan.